So hello my dear friends, welcome to my new video. In this today's video, I Pranav Word, your master teacher of Little Dear Sir channel, is here with you over a new and interesting topic, that is respiration in living organisms, which is of class 6th. Class 7th CBSE NCERT science book. So in this today's video, we are going to learn about the respiration in living organisms. But before the starting, like, share and subscribe our channel Little Dear Sir to get new updates about our new videos and the topics. So let's get started with the respiration in organisms, class 7th. Why do we respire? First of all, about the respiration, why do we respire? All the living organisms are made of small microscopic units. All the living organisms are made of small microscopic units. They are called as cells. Cells are called the building blocks of the living organisms, which are the smallest part in the living organisms are called as the cells, and which are the microscopic units. We can't see from our naked eyes, but we can see from the microscope. Cells have different functions to perform in these organisms, such as digestion, respiration, transportation and excretion. Cells can perform many tasks such as digestion, respiration, transportation and excretion in the living organisms. These all are the processes happening in the living organisms, and these are formed because of the cells. Cells can perform these functions only they get the energy to do so. So cells need the energy to do anything. You need the energy to play, you need the energy to read, you need the energy to learn. So cells also need energy to perform this task. Okay, hence all living organisms need food which give them required energy. So as the cars needs fuel, so our living organisms needs fuel which is given to the cells to make the processes make happen, such as processes such as digestion, respiration, transportation and excretion. So we need energy, and we get the energy from the food. We need the energy from the food. The energy present in the food gets released when the organisms respire or breathe. So what happens when we respire or breathe? The energy present in the food released when the organisms respire. So the energy which is stored in the food, it is released. How do foods helps us in gaining energy? How do foods help us in gaining energy? As we breathe, take in the air that contains oxygen in it, and breathe out air which contains carbon dioxide. Now here what can we understand? Which air we take? Oxygen. We take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. As in this sentence, we take in the air that contains oxygen and we breathe out air which contains carbon dioxide. This oxygen, when transported to our cells, helps in breaking down the food. We get energy. So how do we get energy? When the oxygen is taken inside, what happens to the oxygen? This oxygen, when transported to our cells, it is transported to our cells after taking inside in breaking down the food, and when get the energy. It breaks down the food, and by which we get the energy to do works or perform tasks. The oxygen that an organism breathes reacts with the carbohydrates glucose. Oxygen reacts with the glucose present in the food and results in the release of cal. It results in the release of cal. Glucose plus oxygen energy is released. In the presence of energy is released, when the energy is released, carbon dioxide plus water we get, and the formula is C6H12O6 plus CO2 6O2, that is 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O. So here it is the balanced equation happened in the chemical reaction. Next, breathing and cellular respiration. Figure 5, relation between the breathing and cellular respiration. We take in the oxygen, that is O2, and give out CO2. When the oxygen is taken inside, the 6 CO2 and 6 O2 in the lungs, and cellular respiration, what happens? Mitochondria, it is a cell which is the mitochondria. Water vapor are inside this, which is 6H2O, and eating glucose, that is 1C6H12O6, and the cell is eating this glucose. So it is the relation between the breathing and the cellular respiration. Next, types of respiration. There are two types of respiration: anaerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. The respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen is called as the aerobic respiration. In the aerobic respiration, oxygen is present, and as we know that in anaerobic respiration, the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen is called as the anaerobic respiration. Okay, so here we have glucose plus oxygen. So here oxygen is present, so it is the aerobic respiration, which results in the carbon dioxide plus water. The chemical reaction of it is C6H12O6 plus CO2, 6O2, that results to the 6CO2 plus 6H2O. Second, anaerobic respiration. Let's take an example of anaerobic respiration. Glucose plus ethanol. So here ethanol is present but oxygen is not present. Ethanol plus carbon dioxide, C6H12O6, which results in C2H5OH, that is ethanol, and that is 2CO2, that is carbon dioxide. You might also see ethanol with the formula of C6H6O. It is the same thing. So formula of ethanol is C2H5OH, also C2H6O. Okay, this is the anaerobic respiration. Anaerobes, organisms that exist in the absence of the air, are called anaerobes. They undergo anaerobic respiration, hence can get energy even without oxygen. So they can get the energy without the oxygen as well, because they do anaerobic respiration. Example, yeast. Yeast is a bacteria which is present in the bread or things. These are unicellular organisms that exist in the absence of oxygen as well. So there are two types of cell: unicellular and multicellular. Multicellular means main cell, unicellular means one cell. So this yeast is a unicellular organism, means only one cell is there. So that exists in the absence of oxygen as well, means it can do respiration in the absence of oxygen as well. So it is called as the anaerobe. As byproduct, they release ethanol and carbon dioxide. So they release the ethanol and the carbon dioxide, but not oxygen. That is why they are used to make wine and beer. So ethanol, that is alcohol, which is used to make the wine and beer. This is called as alcohol fermentation. It is called as the fermentation, also called as the alcohol. Okay. Next, anaerobic respiration in muscles. Now next we have the example of muscles. First of all, we see the example of yeast, which do the anaerobic respiration and it releases the ethanol and the carbon dioxide. But here we have the next example, that is the anaerobic respiration in muscles. This generally happens when we undergo a heavy exercise such as running, weightlifting, cycling, or walking for a longer duration. When we do any of the task in the of this, we get our muscles do the anaerobic respiration. In such situations, the muscles require more energy, and the supply of oxygen is not enough. As a result, of muscles also produce lactic acid. So they produce the lactic acid. So here no oxygen is required along with the energy. This lactic acid accumulates in the muscles and causes cramps. So when we are running fast and more we are running, so the lactic acid is produced, and when the whole thing is completed and the more lactic acid is produced and when we are running more, so we are getting the cramps because of the excess of the lactic acid in our muscles. In order to get relief from cramps, we can take a hot water bath or massage our muscles. We can massage our muscles or take a hot water bath, which can give us relief. Okay, this is so because hot water bath or massage improves the blood circulation in the muscles. The circulation of the blood is fast because of the cramps. It is stuck, and because of the hot water bath or the massage, it can be relieved. As a result, the oxygen reaches the cells easily, which breaks the lactic acid into carbon dioxide waters. Means the lactic acid is broken into two parts, that is carbon dioxide and water, means CO2 and H2O. Okay. Next, breathing. Breathing can be defined as process in which organisms, with the help of their respiratory organs, as humans has a respiratory system which includes the nose, trachea, the lungs. Like this, every organism has the different respiratory system or the organs. Take in oxygen rich air present in the surroundings and release out air that contains high amount of carbon dioxide. So we take in O2 and release out CO2. Okay, breathing occurs continuously in the organisms, means continuously we are breathing. Without the breathing we can't live. Inhalation is the process of taking in of the air that contains oxygen inside the body. This is the inhalation, this is the exhalation. Now when I am taking the air inside, it is called as the inhalation, and when I am taking giving out the carbon dioxide outside, it is the exhalation. Okay, exhalation is the process of releasing out air that contains carbon dioxide out of the body, means we are taking the oxygen rich inside our body, and the which is the non used air, that is the carbon dioxide we are throwing out or the excreting, or exhalation is called. Inhalation and exhalation takes place alternately in the breathing process. Alternately they are taking process in the breathing. Inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation, so it is called as the respiration. Next we have the breathing rate. Next, when you go to the doctor using the breathing rate is there, they are asking about the breathing rate, calculating the breathing rate. So what is this breathing rate? Breathing rate can be defined as the number of times person breathes in a minute. So if you are breathing sometimes in a minute, it is called as the breathing rate. Breathing rate per minute, so it is called as the breathing rate. A breath can be defined as inhalation followed by an exhalation. So when there is an inhalation followed by an exhalation, it is called as a one breath. An average adult human breathes about 15 to 18 times in a minute. An adult breathes 15 to 18 times in a minute, while this rate changes to 25 times a minute when we are doing more exercise, running, walking, doing exercise and giving stress to our body. Heart is pumping more blood, we are taking the more oxygen where it is needed to our muscles, so it reaches to the 25 times a minute. So here we have to understand that the average human breathing rate is 15 to 18 times a minute, and it can reach up to 25 times per minute. Okay, next, parts of a stethoscope. Now stethoscope, why the stethoscope is used to check the heartbeat. So this is the headset, which this headset is this earpieces which is put in the ear, it is the earpieces. Ear tube, this is the ear tube. Okay, it is the tubing, this one is the tubing. Next, this is the chest chest piece, this is the chest piece. This is the steam, it is part of stethoscope, and the bell on which our they are keeping the bell are keeping on our heart to find the heart rate. These are some parts of the stethoscope. The mechanism of breathing in human beings. Next we have to learn the mechanism of breathing in human beings. We take in air present in the environment through our nostrils. So what are nostrils? We will learn what are nostrils. The two pipes which are connected to our lungs, they are called as the nostrils, which travels through the nasal cavity. This inside is our nasal cavity. Then it moves to the windpipe. Here is the windpipe which goes to the lungs and reaches the lungs. The lungs are located in the chest cavity, which is surrounded by the ribs. So here when you keep your hand here, you can see something bones. These are the ribs, and inside these ribs there is your lungs. On the floor of the chest cavity lay a muscle sheet called diaphragm. So a diaphragm is laid downside of the lungs, and when we take in, it is going up, it is going down because the muscles the lungs are getting exhaled, and now here that we are going to learn the diaphragm action. Okay, inhalation and exhalation. The oxygen is gone inside this lung, lung volume increases, your lung is increased, your lung is going inside contraction, and that happening is in relaxation is happening in your lungs. Rib cage expands, the rib cage is expanding, diaphragm contracts or moves down, it is moving down because the lungs are getting big. Air pressure drops, so the air pressure is dropping downside. Next, uh, expiration, that is exhalation, lung volume increases, lungs are getting in your own position, so the lung volume is in decreases, so the rib cage retracts, means when it is gone outside it is again coming inside. Diaphragm is relaxed, means it is moving up and going to its initial position, air pressure is increased. Okay, next, breathing in a cockroach. Many insect like cockroach have small openings called spiracles. These are called spiracles. Present on the sides of the bodies. They are present on the sides of the bodies. As we respire by our nose, they are respiring by the spiracles. Also, they have tube-like structure called trachea that allows exchange of gases in these insects. Trachea is present in the insects as well, which allows the exchange of the gases which takes the inhales or exhales. Air enters the body through the spiracles and diffuses the cell with the trachea. Similarly, the air from the cell enters the trachea and moves out of the body through spiracles. Means the as the nose is working for us, the spiracle is working. So these are the trachea tubes. Okay, these are the trachea tubes. Okay, this is the air spaces inside which the air is there. These are the spiracles, which are the small openings beside their body, like our nose. Respiratory system of the cockroach it is. Next, breathing in earthworms. Next, we have the earthworms. Earthworms have a soft, smelling, and moist skin. Slimming and moist skin. Hence, the gases can easily pass in and out of the earthworm through its skin. Diffusion. So, breathing by skin is equal to diffusion. So when an organism is breathing by its skin, so it is called as the diffusion. Okay, similarly, frogs also have slippery and moist skin that help in breathing. However, frogs contains lungs too, so the frogs have both the things, they have lungs as well and they do the this diffusion as well. Earthworm, this is the respiratory system of the earthworm. The carbon dioxide is released and oxygen is taken in by using its skin, called as the diffusion. Breathing under water. Animals live underwater, have special respiratory organs called gills. Gills are present to the fishes, whales. Whales not have because they have a hole, but fishes, other organisms, they inside which are living inside the water have the gills. They are a comb-like structure present on the skin of this animal. It is a comb-like structure. Gills allow the exchange of the gases between animals and the water easily. So when the gills are opening like this, the water is taking inside, and when the gills are again opening, the remained water is given outside, and the required air or the things respiratory things which are needed to the fish, it is taken in. Some animals are the amphibians, can breathe only on land by lungs. So land is equal to, yes, land is equal to amphibians. And through moist skin underwater, for example, frogs and toads. So toads and frogs, they can breathe inside the water as well and outside the water as well, so are called as the amphibians. Okay. Breathing of the fishes, water flows through the mouth, so they are taking the through the mouth. And fish gill, water flows over the gills then out, so that when the gills are gaining or getting opened, the water is given out. Inhaling, water is taken inside, the mouth is open, gill is closed. And the water which is taken inside, gills are there, and gill covered closed, so it is the inhaling process when the water is taken inside, and the respiration process is happening here. And while the exhaling, mouth is closed but gill is open, and the excess water which is not required is given out. Okay. Next, so respiration in plants. Next we have the respiration in plants. We know that plants also respire. All the parts of the plants can interdependently respire, that is, they can take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen on their own. The leaves of the plants have stomata present upon which them are the small pore-like structure that allow gases exchange in the leaves. And in the last video we also learned about the stomata, the chlorophyll, all the things in the lesson, that is nutrition in plants, all the things we have learned. So it is the stomata is used to do allow the gases or the respiration. CO2 is taken inside and the water and oxygen is given outside. Figure 13, respiration in leaves through stomata. Okay. Next, the respiration plant, we have some figure. Oxygen is taken inside by the leaf, carbon dioxide is given outside. Oxygen is taken inside by the roots and carbon dioxide given outside. Respiration in plants like this is happened. Okay. Now let's we have lenticels. Lenticels. The woody stem of the plant also respire. This is because of the presence of special tissue called lenticels. The cells of this tissue have large intercellular spaces. They exist as dead cells on woody plants and roots and allow the exchange of gases. So these small, as the plants have the stomata, the small pores are called as lenticels, and which allow the exchange of the gases. As the name suggests, lenticels have a lens-like shape. This is the lens-like shape of the lenticels. Okay. Next, the root of the plant have hair-like structure on them, hence they can absorb the air present in the soil. So here roots can absorb the air from the soil. It is the root here, it is the air space, and it is the soil particles which are in the root. So I hope you understood the topic, that is respiration organisms. We learned the both respiration, anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration, all the earthworm, cockroaches, respiration in plants, all the things we have covered. If you like this video, like, share and subscribe our channel Little Dear Sir, and tell in the comment box you like this video or welcome in our channel Little Dear Sir.